Hello, hello. Thank you for joining me tonight with the Other Woman magazine and Dr. Duke Speaks. She is running just a few minutes late. She is backstage. She'll be joining us in a few minutes. Tonight, we're going to talk about, I want to say it, tonight we're going to talk about shit. We're going to talk about poop. Anyway, my name is Lavender Shedrick Williams. I am owner of Candy Publishing and creator of the Other Woman magazine. And this is a topic that we can all relate to is bowel movements. What you eat is either going to tell you that you have too much or not enough, that you go to the bathroom too much or not enough. But your bowel movements tell you a lot about the state of your health. And I believe Denise is ready. That is one busy woman. She makes me look like I don't do anything, and I feel like I'm busy. But we're going to bring Dr. Dukes on, and we're going to hear what she has to say about her side of the holistic health and wellness in relation to our poop. Okay, Denise, I hope you're ready because I'm about to show your face, girl. Hey there.
Hi.
How are you, girl?
How are you?
Can you hear me okay?
Everybody out there in YouTube and Facebook land.
Oh, yeah. How was your day, first of all, before we get started?
It was fabulosa.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Wonderful.
Fabulous. Absolutely.
We already have a few people signed in and waiting. We're going to talk about poop tonight and the lack of and what it tells us about our health. And, I think the first thing people need to know about it is that sometimes we'll just do our business and flush the toilet.
Mm-hmm.
But we definitely need to look at it.
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't show you, but what is it called, that survey, the stool? I have a picture of one. We'll get to that in a minute, but we are going to go ahead and begin because the smoothie queen can also help in having regular bowel movements. So whether your bowels are your poop, whatever you want to call it, is too runny or too thick, or you feel constipated, you could either be dehydrated, not having enough fiber. It could be just a lot of different things. And I'm going to go ahead and share that image. And it tells us what our poop is actually supposed to look like. This is called the Bristol stool chart. I hope you guys can see that. And if you can't, you can also Google the Bristol stool chart to actually see. And this is why it's important to look at your stool because it'll let you know if you need more fiber, you need more H2O or H3O, or so many different things. So Denise, I'm going to go ahead and you let us know
I'm having a little technical difficulties.
Girl, that's okay. I have technical difficulties 9 out of 10 times I go on there. I'm glad it's you and not me tonight.
Yeah, I'm trying to get this camera right. We moved to a new home and it's still wanting to do its own thing. So I had to get my office set up and everything. And for some reason, it's let me see. 1 second. Give me 1 second. Because I have some wonderful information to share with you guys.
Good. We just appreciate you being here, knowing that you're busy. You all, Dr. Dukes comes on with us. We try to get her on once a month, her holistic health and holistic healing background. You can go to her website, naturallyorganicu.com, and you can read all about her background, her products. And tonight she's going to talk to us about our poop. Okay.
That's sticky stuff. Well, honestly, it's not supposed to stink.
That's right. I'm glad you said that. You know what, Denise? It is not supposed to stink. So everybody's shit does not stink. But you know what? I noticed when I changed my eating habits and when I had more intake of H2O and H3O and just the right stuff, even the lack of smell, or if it smells, will tell us about our health. Girl, when I go poop, now we're just going to be open tonight because we are talking about poop.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't smell it, I'm like, yeah,
Yes,
my
yes,
shit does not stink.
stink. Yes.
So why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Okay.
Why isn't it supposed to smell?
Sure. Well, one of the things is that the reason why we have high odors in our stools, if you ever noticed, and most everybody does, even when you go into public restrooms, you're like, oh my God, who died and up in here?
Yeah. Yeah.
When you smell your own poop, or someone in your household or in a public area restroom, what that is usually parasites, dealing with a lot of toxins and parasites that are lingering in your body, dead food, first of all, because what we have to understand is the meat that we're consuming here in the United States, mostly, unless you live on a farm and you kill your own chickens and you have a butcher that's right down the street, like in the olden days. Most of the food that we get, the meats that we consume today, are grown on a mass farm somewhere, harvested on a farm, humanely killed, and then the meat is stockpiled and frozen into some type of warehouse or so forth for a couple weeks at a time, or whatever, week at a time, and then they're put on different trucks and sent all over the United States to be delivered to the grocery stores in which you buy your food from. So once they get to the stores, anybody knows if you don't have a fresh keel of meat, it's going to be rotten after several days. It's just use common sense. Let's use common sense. If you are fishermen out there, or people who fish, when you get a fish, what's the first thing you do? I used to fish with my dad. Put the fish on ice, keep it fresh. So when you get it home, it's still fresh. And then my father would scale it, fillet it, and freeze it. Okay. So once we get that meat, it has already been sitting around, and we don't know what their protocols are, what practices that they're actually using.
Right.
I tell people to go watch the show on I think it's on Netflix and YouTube, called What the Health.
Yes.
And it's another one called The Game Changer. It will open your eyes to actually what's going on in our meat industry. But making a long story short, is a lot of the meat that we're consuming is already, we already know it's dead. It's dead food. It has no life to it whatsoever. Therefore,
and it'll begin stinking.
Yeah,
Dead flesh stinks.
Right. Flesh stinks. So as our body breaks it down and tries to, get all of the nourishment out of it can, whether it be vitamins or minerals or proteins or whatever, the body disposes of the rest as waste in the intestinal system, the small intestine and the large intestine, and then we poop it out. So that waste is that rotten, dead meat that has been sitting around for weeks at a time before we even bring it to our kitchen table to consume it. And so the body is just, that's what waste is, it's things that the body cannot use. So
after it's already dead and been sitting around, then it'll sit in our body
Yeah.
for a few days if you're not having regular bowel movements. When in actuality, we should be pooping at least twice a day, right?
Yeah, we should be. If we're getting the right amount of fiber in our daily lifestyle, which I highly recommend. We start our day off with a good oat bran or some type of bran. Consume some type of nuts like walnuts, Brazil nuts, pistachios, something that's healthy and helping to make bulk up that fiber in our intestinal colon, because that's the problem that a lot of people have. They don't have enough fiber in their
Mm-hmm.
system. And
Mm-hmm.
so we don't have enough fiber, and that's one of the things that's why your medical doctor, first thing they do is put you on Metamucil or some type of fiber to kind of help, hoping that will help clear the constipation. But what also happens is you have an overgrowth. A lot of people have overgrowth of bad bacteria in the gut, which is throwing off the microbiome in the gut. So you have an imbalance of healthy bacteria and unhealthy bacteria. And most of the time, most people have an unhealthy growth of bacteria in their gut. And that bacteria is actually eating up whatever nourishment, because once your food gets to the stomach and then goes to the small intestine, that's when the nutrients are then being disseminated
Mm-hmm.
through the intestinal wall. And that's how God created the body, to disseminate the nutrients back into the bloodstream so that it can go it can go where it needs to be going. Vitamin B has to go here, vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin D, whatever the body needs, potassium, magnesium. And so I always tell people we don't actually deal with diseases, we deal with diseases
I
in the
love it.
body. And I
You guys
separate
hear that? Dis-ease.
diseases.
Really
And
no such thing as disease. It's
right,
dis-ease.
ease.
Yeah.
And what causes that dis-ease is the body not getting enough nutrients that it needs in the body, whether vitamins, minerals, proteins, um, enzymes, things that keep the body mechanically functioning at its highest optimal level possible.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you have parasites like Candida, which is one of the most common harmful bacteria that we deal with here in the United States, I know of, because a lot of we're treated, overdose with antibiotics, over treated with antibiotics. And
Mm-hmm.
if people don't go back and use prebiotics and to build back up that healthy bacteria over the bad
Mm-hmm.
bacteria, that candida will overgrow in the gut, and then it will spread throughout the body. So then you have what's called inflammation throughout the whole body, because the body is actually attacking itself, trying to protect itself. It's
Mm-hmm.
inflamed, so to speak. So that's when we start having those diseases, and those unhealthy bacteria that are lying in our intestinal system are there, and they are eating up our nutrients. They're eating up, the good stuff that our body needs, because they're living organisms as well. And they're
Right.
trying to stay alive and
Mm-hmm.
feed themselves. So they are there, they're multiplying, they're defecating, what you say,
Ugh.
words, you a shit inside of shit.
Yes. Yes.
So you
Yes.
have their stuff going on, and then so they're putting out all this toxic gas. And so that toxic, when you pass gas and you have a toxic smell to it, a odor smell to it, that is actually coming from parasites inside of you that are actually releasing those poisonous or toxic gas
Mm-hmm.
inside of your
And I
body.
thought that was normal. I thought passing gas was normal. But when I changed my eating habits, it's like, okay. So
Mhm.
it's amazing. So the whole dis-ease, that's a good thing. We usually look at disease as a bad thing, but
Mhm.
if that's your body telling you it
Telling you.
is trying to work, it's doing something or not doing something. So that dis-ease is like an alarm going off. And we need to pay attention to that. But you mentioned something about we're not getting the right nutrients. So if we're not eating the right foods, Denise, our
Mhm.
body is not going to absorb those foods and it's not going to pass. right? So some
That's
foods
right.
just sit there
That's right. That's
forever.
right.
They just sit there. So you all go to Denise's page, Naturally Organic You. That's where I started. Then I started doing my own research. And I think the problem with us, especially our culture, we don't want to read. We don't want to research for ourselves the right types of foods that we're supposed to consume so our
Exactly.
bodies can absorb and digest it and pass it. It's just amazing that here I am almost 60 and I'm just now
And you look
learning all this
great.
stuff.
You look great. You're doing all the right things, Lavender, and I applaud you on that. You know,
Trying to.
one of the things that I tell people is, we have so many, a lot of people don't realize they may have 20 pounds of fecal matter
I
in their
know.
intestinal system.
Oh,
I have had clients that have, used my tea, and they were like, where did all of this come
come
from?
from.
It's like, wait a minute, because they're like,
Yes.
well, I was going once a day, or then I have clients that, especially if you're on medications, like hypertension medications or cholesterol
Hmm.
medications, or you've been on chemo, or
Hmm.
um, any kind of Western medication, it slows down the digestive system. It slows down the elimination system in the body to eliminate, because you have so much toxins that are built up through these medications in your body. They build up in your lungs, they build up in your spleen, they build up in your liver. And the liver and the kidneys used to do a great job by themselves before we changed, the world
Yeah.
way of producing
Yeah.
foods. Even
Yeah.
fruits and vegetables, are now
Hmm.
hybrids and GMOs. And so our
Yeah.
body, like corn, it's
I
not a
know.
natural fruit, a
You
vegetable.
hear that? You hear that, Mama? Corn
So
is, I didn't say it.
yeah, popcorn, is one of my used to be one of my favorite things to eat, but it actually
Yeah.
tears holes in the intestinal tract.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you get leaky gut from. And those are the foods
Yeah.
called high lectin foods, lectins. And lectins really scratch and cause tears in the colon. And then
Whew.
it seeps out all of the fecal matter, those toxins
Mm,
that are the
mm.
body's trying to eliminate from itself, is now leaking back out into your bloodstream and building up more unstable healthy cells. It's causing your healthy cells to become unstable in the body. So when that happens, then those cells mutate and they mutate and mutate. And then voila, one day you like, oh, you have cancer. We see a cancer cell or
Yeah.
whatever. So those
Yeah.
are built up toxins. If you go to Google University, Google what causes cancers, in the body,
Hmm.
and they're going to tell you
Hmm.
it's a buildup of toxins. And
Yeah. And toxins are in the air. So we have toxins on top of toxins. We
and
breathe in toxins. Toxins if you wear makeup, lotions that we put on our skin, and then the food. So we're just full of toxins from, oh my goodness, it's too
I,
much.
I
Tonight
see.
is not the night for me to have a smile on my face. So if I'm frowning,
I
got my
know. I
nose
know. I'm
turned
trying to get back to one, but this is a serious issue.
it
And
is. It
I have
is.
so many clients that come to me, and when they take my tea, and I'm not trying to just push my tea, but if you can find something out there that's natural, because the reason why I developed the tea that I have is because, and it took years and years and years of development, but we've been using it over 37 years. So, but it's very gentle in the body, but it detoxes, it pulls toxins from every organ in the body, and then it softens the stools in the body so that it can be released. Now, Miss Taylor, I want to address her question right quick. Um, she was saying, is it good to pass gas or not? It's healthy to pass gas. There's nothing wrong with passing gas. It's the smell, the odor that you want to be concerned with. because we do have, say, if you're doing beans or something like that, that doesn't really agree with you and your body's trying to break it down, you would have, what's called the enzymes are not working it right in the body to break down that, or let's say the texture of that bean has not been watered down, or enough, hasn't
Right.
been softened enough for the body to break it down correctly.
Because
So
all beans aren't good for all beans are not meant, our body is not meant to absorb
all beans,
beans.
that's
All
right.
beans, yeah. So
So
you got to do that research. So even the gas, that lets you know you've got something going on where it's got to pass.
yeah,
But you really have to get that out. It's got to come out of the body some way.
it
But
does.
even people who don't exercise, once you start moving, your
Mhm.
body will start releasing and
Yeah.
you'll be passing gas. You got to move. You got
Just
to
move, just
just
move.
move.
And most people get uric acid built up, which is gas, built up in their weakest links. So again, the smell of the gas, Miss Taylor, is not normal. It's a smell. And so if something is going in the body to pass that gas, we need to get it out of the system, because you don't want it to stay there. It's like I'm going back to uric acid. When that builds up, people have trouble with their knees, they have trouble in their back, because that uric acid, that gas, is like forming a gas bubble in between the joints of the body. So you have a joint here, and then you have a pocket of air, which is gas, in between these two joints. So, like, say, like this is your knee or your spine, and then as that gas builds up, that pocket becomes more and more. So then you have all this, this air, and you have discomfort from that, discomfort from that air. So when you do, like I always tell my clients, if you're dealing with joint pain, uh, drink some black cherry juice, and that would immediately, you will be having flatulence all day long, because that will pull that black cherry juice. I use a brand called Lakewood, because that's the brand that I have found to actually work for me. And I don't sell that. So I used to get it from Publix or health food store, but Lakewood pure black cherry juice works for me. But I've had people that were actually on canes that couldn't walk because they had so much excruciating pain from uric acid buildup in their body, and they did the black cherry juice flush. And like I told them, they're going to have a lot of flatulence, because that's the body pulling that black cherry juice, God's natural fruit and herb. It pushes that uric acid throughout the intestinal colon, and you're gonna pass that all day long. But guess what? You're
Mhm.
gonna have, your muscles are gonna feel better, your joints are gonna feel better, you're going to be able to move. So, if you are in the position where you're saying, well, I can't walk, or I can't walk that much, or I can't, move that much, that is even more reason to get out and move.
Mhm.
Because if you
Mm.
don't, that's
Mm.
going to basically just stabilize into your body. And your body's going to, get, just constricted, and your muscles are going to get atrophy where you won't be able to move at all. So
Mhm.
you have to, your
Mhm.
body is made to be in constant motion
Movement.
all the
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
all, being
You'll even
constant
get
motion.
cramps from not
Yeah.
moving, or cramps from not passing um, whatever it is that needs to be passed. It's just, it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah. Miss Taylor, you're right. The beans.
the
Look on my
beans.
website at naturallyorganicu.com and go under Dr. Duke's Holistic Guide. There's a list of lectin-free foods that's free for you to download to your phone, Miss Taylor. And it will tell you all the beans that are toxic to the body, that actually, cause the body to build up that gas, and your body can't break it down very well. Those are called the lectins, which are
Hmm.
protein that the body just cannot break down. Our
Like
human
pork
body.
and beans. That's
Pork and
one
beans.
of them. Pork and beans. I
I
used to
I
love
know.
pork and beans.
You know what? I had some the other day. And my husband was like, "What is wrong with you?" I said, "Well, I haven't eaten any in a while. We did the natural, pork and beans, but it was like I had gas flatulence all day
Yeah,
long.
yeah,
And I was like, what
yeah.
in the world
I
did that to me?
know.
I said, oh, I ate those beans, those pork and beans.
Because if your body's not used to it, it's going to let you know. So I know my mother's watching. Mama, see, when I'm eating on the right track and I'm eating all those things, and then I go to my mother's house and she's got all, oh Lord, that woman can cook. And like she said, she just had corn on the cob. And I'm like, Mama, I can't eat this. I can't eat this. But
Mhm.
sometimes it's like, I just gotta have me a piece of corn on
Yeah,
the cob.
yeah. And I tell people, every now and then, but popcorn, they sell it as a snack, a healthy snack, but
Yeah.
it's really tearing holes in your intestinal system. It's really messing up your colon.
That was
So
hard for me to stop. That was
yeah,
very
so popcorn is
difficult,
something that you should not consider a healthy snack.
especially
Every
the
now and
microwave. That's
oh
double
God,
unhealthy.
oh my
That's
God,
triple
now you're
unhealthy.
adding toxins on top of
Yes.
the dangers,
Ugh.
the damage that popcorn can do inside of the body. But
Mm,
most of it, like I said, a lot of people so packful with they don't understand. They tried, what they call those pills that soften the stool softeners, and they tried
mhm,
Metamucil, and they tried laxatives. The problem with unnatural laxatives is that it robs the body of vital nutrients in the body: potassium, magnesium, calcium, sodium, even sodium. The body needs a balance of all of this. So when you're taking laxatives that are trying to give you some type of relief from the constipation, you are actually pulling out vital nutrients. And what you're going to find is over time, you're going to have problems with your blood pressure. You're going to have problems with cholesterol. You're going to have problems with inflammation, built up inflammation in the body, because your body needs the potassium. I think I said this so many times on this show and other shows. The body needs 4,700 milligrams of potassium every day, and the body does not store potassium. And so the body gets that potassium through green leafy foods and foods that are rich in potassium, beans that are good for you, or nuts, that are healthy for you. Almonds are not good for us. I found that out. I've been doing more research with my research institute out of Atlanta and finding out I thought almonds were, pretty
I
good
thought
for us.
so too. It's all walnuts for me.
Yeah,
Walnuts,
it's
walnuts,
walnuts. Walnuts are
walnuts.
really good. Pecans are good for us. Brazil nuts, pistachios. But I have again, I have a list of those types of foods that are good for us. The types of nuts that are good for us. But you have to be careful about what you're consuming, and then you also have to be careful because if you get compacted, and a lot of people are just compacted and they don't even know it. They
Hmm.
think because they have one meal a day, they get up in the morning, drink their coffee, and then they have a bowel movement, they're good for the day. Well, if you're
Hmm.
eating 2 to 3 meals throughout that day, you should be going
Good.
2 to 3 times
Should
throughout
be.
that day. That is a very healthy working digestive system right there. So if you're not, then you need to start cutting back on something that you're eating to find out what it is that's causing your body to be so compactful. First of all, you need to do a good cleanse, a good healthy cleanse. And again, yeah, the
I
Dr.
have to
Deuce,
show this. Yeah. Oh, you got one.
yeah, that's
Okay.
the old
Now,
one.
you
That's
guys have
the new bag.
probably heard me say this. Let me put you on. You guys have probably heard me say this before, but this tea, now, Denise doesn't push her products. So, but this tea right here, let me tell you, I don't eat meat. I don't consume meat, and I'm trying to stop eating fish. But when I take this tea, let me tell you, I'm talking about pooping. It will show you what you're full of. And it is just, it's almost scary to see what you're full of because for someone who doesn't consume meat, now, if you consume meat
Oh,
and you're not pooping at least 2 times a day, sometimes that's the reason why you have a pooch. That stomach is all stuff that needs to come out of you. So you know what, Denise? Girl, I can see my abs. I see my abs. I didn't do any particular no exercises for abs. It's all that junk that's
Yeah.
coming out of me.
Yeah.
That's
I've
like
had
freaking
people-
amazing to me.
I've had people that have been on my tea and some of my other products and veterans, and they were on 8 different medicines. It was the gentleman that I just spoke to today, was on 8 different medicines. He's been on my regimen for about 7 months, and the doctor just took him off his last cholesterol pill. He said, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. And that tea, I'm telling you, it changes your life. This tea, if you don't get anything else from my website, you don't have to buy anything. I need you to do this for your health because it works. And
So you got a new bag.
Yeah,
You got a new bag. So it's the same product.
Same product.
Okay,
It
let me
has
tell
8
you why I
tea
have
bags
the
in it.
old bag. I
It
have
has-
2 more tea bags, which is another gallon. Now, the reason I still have the old bag is because this tea, I just got tired of going to the bathroom. I just got sick of going to, oh my God, you're talking about, let me be real here. You're talking about going through toilet paper. I'm like, where is this coming from? But this it will cleanse your body, and there's really no taste to it. It almost tastes like warm water. It's a mild taste to it, so you don't have to worry about anything tasting nasty. But it's the easiest way to detox and cleanse your body. But don't detox and then keep eating the wrong things. You know, it doesn't make any sense to keep.
Right.
Now that's what I'm trying to do, Denise, is stay on course. But
Yeah.
it's so difficult when you're surrounded by a world that pushes everything except the right stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
And what you have to realize, you're like, where is this coming from? Well, the air, like you said, we're breathing in toxins. What we're putting on our skin and our hair is toxins. If you're taking a shower, you're taking a shower. And if you don't have a filter on your shower heads, you're bathing in toxins. God, I can go on and on and on. That
Don't.
we're just inundated with toxins. Even the foods that we eat, I don't care if they're organic or not. Organic still has, my husband just did a garden, raised garden bed in the backyard, but he even explained in the second video that I'm going to be posting on Facebook about, even having a garden growing yourself, you still have to use some forms of pesticide. You don't use as much, but you want to, you still have to keep the bugs off, unless you have a greenhouse that protects the plants. But if you just have a raised garden bed, or you growing in your backyard or somewhere, or even when you buy from the grocery stores, there's like a number 1 through 4, and well, I didn't say 3 through 9. I'm sorry, 3 through 9, and 3 being the highest grade of pesticides, fungicides, and herbicides that are used on that fruit or vegetable. 9 being the least amount of herbicides, fungicides, and pesticides being used on that fruit or vegetable. So I always look at my vegetables and fruits when I buy them from the grocery store for that little sticker that's on them to see what number, because that's going to tell me how many toxins this fruit has been inundated with, And so with that being said, it's, you're flushing out, when you're going to the restroom a lot, your body with the tea, you're flushing out, your body is pulling those herbs, those 5 gentle herbs, but it doesn't, give you diarrhea. It doesn't give you cramping. That's the great thing people love about the tea. You're just going to have a very smooth. They call it smooth move. They were like, you need to change your name, your tea to smooth move. I said, well, that's already taken, so I can't call it that. But it's a smooth move.
It is.
And I just want people to stay healthy, and it begins with detoxing. If you're going to start, trying to come off of some of these Western medications, if you're going to try to start a more holistic lifestyle, you have to start with detoxing. Detoxing the body, detoxing the mind, detoxing the spirit. Getting toxic people out of your life. That's holistic living, to its fullest. So, You don't, you want to look at the whole picture, not just focus on the body only, but also, meditating on, your relationship with God. For me, it's the Most High God. And these are, yes, the Bristol stool chart right there. If you're number one, those are things, signs of constipation. You have those little hard lumps that just come out in hard lumps. That's not good. Number two is lumpy and it's sausage like. Those are not good. A sausage shape with with the cracks in the surface. Now those cracks in the surface, you know what those are? That's your intestine. Your colon is shaped like that. Your colon has ridges in it, and cracks. So a lot of those toxins or fecal matter would lay up there in those cracks and mold and mildew and
Ah,
in your colon. So a lot of that gas that you pass that's smelling like somebody died it could be molded fecal matter, food and stuff that's been sitting up in your colon in those cracks and crevices. And so when you do a colonoscopy with the doctor, that's one thing they look at. They look into those crevices, and then you have those polyps in there. If you have polyps in there, and that could be from food that's been sitting in there, in those crevices, and it's building up, toxins. It's just a polyp, becomes a little polyp, and they can turn cancerous. The doctor will tell you that's why they want you to have a colonoscopy every year or every 3 years or whatever it is, 3-4 years, because they're trying to see if you have those polyps in there, and they can zap them and get them out of there before. But you can do that naturally by keeping yourself flushed out, and detoxing your body very lightly. So again, we're looking at perfection, and so you want to have the soft, soft. I love it when it's soft, like that,
yeah,
and
yeah.
things
Because
like
we
that.
shouldn't have to push.
No,
We
you
shouldn't
shouldn't
have
have
to
to push.
push.
Shouldn't be any strain at all. It
Hmm.
should just be a nice, smooth move. Like I said, I wish I could use that coin that phrase, but I can't. But it is with my tea, it is a very smooth move.
It is. It
And it not
is.
only comes in the tea form, but we have capsules too, because I have a lot of athletes that professional athletes in NFL and NBA that are on it, and they're always on the road and on the go. So they like to take the capsules.
Does it
And then
work the
I can tell them,
same?
huh?
Does it work the same,
It
capsules
works the
and the
same. It's,
tea?
it's a stronger, in a capsule, it's a stronger um, uh, combination of the herbs because
Uh-huh.
it is in capsule form. We had to do it stronger. And but the reason we did that because your body time by the time it breaks it down, it has to work. So anything liquid, we know in herbal form, it works a lot faster in the body. But when you're taking it in capsule form, it takes the body a little longer to break it down and everything. So we did, a stronger combination of the formula in the capsules, but it works. You take it at night, drink 8 ounces of water, and in the morning, you're going to have a nice, smooth move. And that's
Yeah.
what you want to have. You don't want to have it runny and diarrhea because then now you're putting out a lot of potassium, a lot of minerals, because that's what's
Yeah.
included in that water. It's a lot of things that your body does need. So
And
you
I
just,
call those pebbles shooting pebbles. If you're shooting pebbles, um, yeah,
yeah.
that's not good at all.
Yeah, but
And
that's what causes a lot of the cancer and a lot of the inflammation people are dealing with is just backed up. Over 4 million people here in the United States alone are dealing with health issues
yeah,
resulting around constipation, chronic constipation. If you're going every 2 days or every 3 days or a week or two, I'm telling you, you need to get on the T.
what about
Listen,
somebody who does it often, who poops often, or like right after they eat, they're going to that bathroom? What is that about?
well, it could be one or two things because some people that do that, they call it Crohn's disease. I think they call it Crohn's disease or something like that. Um, and it's according to how, again, the shape and the consistency of the bowel movements. because if you're eating something and you're going like 30 minutes to an hour after you eat, that would be normal. But if it's runny or if it's crampy, then that can be another issue. And that's the problem with Crohn's disease, is a lot of people have those cramps and they have the runny stools. And so that is not healthy, even though they're going 2 or 3 times a day. That is not a healthy 3 or 4 times a day. So I have people that have come to me with Crohn's disease, which is a dis-ease in the body, and it actually reversed it. The tea actually reversed their Crohn's. So and so it is. I mean, I just thank God for his natural healing herbs, and it's just something natural that doesn't pull from the body. I drink a glass of tea every morning, and sometimes at night, a glass before I go to bed at night, or I take a capsule at night, and it just keeps me, what I call this, like my maintenance plan of keeping toxins, because every day I'm exposing my body to toxins.
Oh gosh,
and that's just a fact of the matter. So
you're speaking to me. So I need to go ahead and take my last 2 tea bags, but I think I'm going to switch to the capsules. Then I don't have an excuse,
Yeah.
But I don't like the kitchen. I don't have like anything to do with the kitchen except eating. So if it's easy for me to just pop a capsule and making the tea, but it's just like making regular tea, but it does make a gallon. 2 bags make a whole gallon, and it'll last for, if you're taking it right, what, a month, Denise?
A month. Yeah, it'll last you a whole month. That 8 tea bags in there. And it has a tea bag that looks like your normal tea bags that you buy in the grocery store. But don't make the mistake of not reading the instructions on the back.
Yes, read the instructions.
I've had people to take one of the tea bags and put it in a cup of hot water.
No.
And yes, and they let it steep, and they're taking it, and they're like, "Oh my God!" So that's one tea bag, but that's half a gallon right there. That one bag. These herbs are so potent, and we get them from West Africa, the herbs, and so they're grown in rich soil, and in fair trade land. And so we've been getting these herbs for the last 30 years from the same source. And so the herbs are so nutrient rich that's why they work so well. They're not grown here in the United States. None of our herbs grow here in the United States, and none of them in China either.
So you guys will be surprised. You will be shocked at what's going to come out of your body. I'm glad you brought the tea.
Let me tell you what I did. And this might, gross some people out, but I'm just like to be transparent with people, because I was eating, my husband and I moved up here in Prattville, and when I had my wellness center, I used to do ionic foot detoxes there, and it would be amazing to see how many pinworms will come out of people's body through the foot detox. Well, when I closed down the wellness center, I was no longer able to do those anymore. So I, resulted by my tea, and drinking that. But I haven't had any problems. I always look at my stool after I have a bowel movement. I always look at my stool, and everyone needs to make a habit of that, because you don't know if you have blood in your stool. You need to see what color it is, what shape it is. It's not nasty to look at your own body. It tells you a lot about your health, is your bowel movements, so look and check it out, because some people go without looking, and they've had blood in their stool for months and didn't ever know it until it got so bad to the stool was filled up with blood. And then they rushed to the doctor, and the doctor said, "This has probably been going on for a month or more with you." But because people don't look, I look when I wipe, I look when I look after, before I flush, I check it out. But you want to look. So nevertheless, we were eating in a Chinese restaurant for about, maybe, I was loving this food because they had a 90, 99, 97 score. So I was like, okay, this is very healthy, whatever. And I took some of my tea and tea capsules, and I took some of my Restore, which is another herb that has black walnuts in it that really kills parasites. Even my tea it kills parasites in the gut. But I checked out my stool, my bowel movement from the next morning, and I had a worm in my stool. It was a white worm. And I was like, oh my God,
Mm.
where'd this come from? So I knew it. So my husband and I had to stop eating there because I'm like, something is not right. You
You don't know
know,
what you're getting when you go out to eat. You
you
don't
don't, you
know.
don't. So that's why it's important to
Ugh.
look at your stools, because I've had people to call me and say they saw worms, in
Ugh.
their bowel movements
Like,
after they did it. But that was the first time in a long time, because I know I always check my stool, but I knew exactly where to pinpoint though. That's one good
yeah,
thing.
that's the
I do that.
good thing. That's the
That's
good
a good
thing.
thing. I
But if
knew
you're
what
eating out all the time, you don't know where, you don't know, you can't pinpoint. But if you try to eat right on a regular basis and
Mhm.
then you get a stomach ache or something's happening, something's not right, oh, I know what it was. I ate this. Because
Yes.
I immediately get a headache if
Yeah.
I eat something that I'm not supposed to be consuming. Your
Yeah.
body tells you, just
Yeah.
like your poop tells you.
Yeah. It tells you.
Ugh.
So I just I was like, I did it, and then I did the flush and did the capsules for a while, and my next bowel movement was clear, didn't have any problems. I even took a stick to break it up a little bit to see what, make sure nothing was in there. And I'm just, I'm all in it. I'm like, I don't want that stuff in my body. I need to
I
know what's going on in my
know.
body,
I
and
know.
everybody does,
It's
because
nothing to play with.
it's
I
nothing to
mean, we
play
only
with.
get one body. And as we age, I don't know how old everybody is who's watching, but as you age, your body doesn't heal as quickly as it did when it was young. And if you're putting trash in it, it's just going to take that much longer.
Yeah.
But if you're eating right, the body was created to heal itself. It's going to do what it's supposed to do. So
Yeah.
I saw something on Facebook. Somebody said, if you're over 50, what's your pain this morning? And I wanted to comment so bad, but I didn't. I wanted to say, I don't have no pains.
Yeah.
I don't have any extra
Yeah.
pain.
Exactly.
That stuff is not
Exactly.
normal. It's
It's
not
not normal. It's not
normal.
normal. You should be on a zero.
Thank you. Oh
So
my
you
goodness.
have to keep the body flushed out. That is the number one step. When people ask me, how do you lose weight? How do you get healthy? What's the first step? Detox.
Yeah.
Detox mind, body, and spirit. Mind, body, and spirit. Detox. Look at what's causing you, who around you is causing you to have an imbalance of not peace, not finding that peace in your bodies, the people. It can be on your job, it can be, social, it can be family, but detox, from people around you that need to be. And that doesn't mean that you just cutting them off. It just means that you just deal with them less. You
Right.
love them from a distance. I always say, love people. You can
From
love
a
people from a
distance.
distance
Mm-hmm.
because they're toxic to you. And then, I look at, my mind. What am I allowing to come into my mind? Am I looking at
Mm-hmm.
horror films? Am I looking at blood and guts films? Am I looking at things, the news, with all this fearful information that's trying to just inundate my mind with fear? And my God is not a God of fear. Fear and love cannot exist in the same realm with me. So I don't look, I'm sorry, I just don't listen to the news because they're constantly trying to throw fear into my life. And so I just, God always has a ram in the bush, is what I say, so whatever is going on, yes, we want to know what's going on around us to be aware, but I mean, you on TikTok and Facebook, you're going to get it anyway, because people are going to
I
talk
have
about
a, yeah,
what's out there, but I don't want
yeah.
to be inundated and sucked in to their programming. I don't want them programming me, and that's what you're watching. When you're watching a television show or a news program, you're being programmed to have fear. You're being
Right,
programmed to think a
right,
certain way. And then they're
right.
channeling energy. That's why you have channels. They're
That
channeling
energy,
energy. So I'll go
yes.
to my YouTube channel and I listen to, like, I put on nice relaxing music throughout my home, so I have that good vibrations going through my home throughout the day, so that my home will stay peaceful, because you want to have a holistic home. your environment within your home is important,
Yes.
and then
Yes.
it'll radiate to what's around you as well. So it begins at home, and having that peaceful boundary. But if you're constantly looking at horror films or listening certain music or certain things, and then you wonder why your life is chaotic.
Or
Well,
gossip, complaining,
yeah,
all of that, all of
yeah.
that. Yeah, that's
So
why I live in the woods by
yeah,
myself.
yeah. Well, we moved out in the country, and I love it, and it's wonderful, and it's peaceful out here. And I just my husband tell you he sees the music on the screen on the TV, and it's nature sounds, and
Yeah.
natural meditation 432 hertz frequency, and I'm just cleansing my house. You
I can
know,
only imagine what your home is like because the place that you had in Montgomery, girl, you walk in there and you could just feel the shift of the atmosphere. The whole environment was,
Mhm.
you could tell it was healing.
It was
It was
healing.
healing.
Yeah.
So we are just about out of time. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. But before we close, Denise, I want you to share one more time about why it's important to check your poop and what poop can tell us about our health.
Okay. Um, it's very important that we watch what we're putting out of our body, just like what we're putting in our bodies. We want to watch what goes out, through the body, and that's mainly through our poop. So when you get up, don't feel embarrassed. This is your own body. You need to know your body's trying to tell you certain things. Again, check your stool. Check it and see if there's any blood in it. Check to see if there's any worms. See what shape it is. And maybe Lavenda can post that on her Facebook page. This chart, and
I will.
just use that chart to go by, because that is a very, very accurate description of what your poop should look like and when it's causing you problems. But if you're not going to the restroom, at least after 2 days, two times a day, because normally people eat at least 2 meals a day, and it may be small meals, but nevertheless you need to go, because what I tell people is, like, if you eat, say, morning breakfast, whether it's oatmeal or whether it's bacon or sausage or whatever, I don't care what it is that you're eating. I do care about pork and stuff. So I'm not going to say I don't care. I do care because I love you guys and I don't want to see you guys unhealthy. But, whatever you're eating that morning, whether it's a muffin or whatever, you should have a bowel movement, from 30 minutes to an hour after that. Then you might eat another meal, in the afternoon or for breakfast. But if you're eating 3 times a day, and especially if you're consuming any type of meat products, and you only go one time that morning after your morning coffee or morning
Mm.
whatever, then guess what? You just had 3 meals or 2 meals, and then you only went one time. So the next day, you're going to do the same thing again. You're going to have 2 more meals. You go one time, that day. So now you have 3 meals that are backed up in your system. Then you eat the next
Mm.
day, you have 2 meals. Now you have 5 meals that are backed up in your system. So that's why a lot of people, once they take the tea and drink the tea, they're like, where did all of this come from? Because your
Mm.
colon is so long, and I think it's 75 feet long. If I'm not mistaken, I may be incorrect on that, but I think that's what it was, what I read. 75 feet long. So, because it wraps around, and so
Like
you
a
can, yeah, it wraps around, and so you can actually have over 20 pounds to 10 pounds of waste sitting in your colon,
oh,
in your gut, and you not even
oh,
know it, because it's impacted in there.
oh.
So it's important that you constantly check your bowel movements, see what the consistency. If they're little knots, you're constipated. Drink a lot of water. Drink water, a gallon, at least a gallon a day. Drink, healthy spring water. If you can get spring water, that is the best water for your body, because it's naturally alkaline. If you can't get natural alkaline water or spring water, then try to get some water that's been, treated, that has some type of treatment system to it, that's been treated for the heavy metals and the toxins, to kind of remove that from a filter, what they call it, filtered water, a
Yeah.
zero pitcher or something like that.
And that's the H2O. So the H3O, which I've learned, grapes, oh my goodness, they're the red globe seeded
Yeah.
grapes and cucumbers. There are other forms
Yeah.
of water. So a lot of
Yeah.
people don't like drinking water, but you have to have that intake. You have
Well,
to have it.
that's like coconut water. You talk about the H3O, coconut from the
Yeah.
fruits, like
Mm-hmm.
you said, and the seeded grapes, it's hard to find those anymore. So I need to know where you're finding seeded grapes. But seeded watermelon, is another H3O. Those are
Oh,
natural forms
girl.
of potassium.
Yes.
They're high
Yes.
in potassium, magnesium. So those are good for you. That's where you come with the H3O, and
Yeah.
coconut water. So if you don't drink, if you don't like drinking regular water, drink coconut water with a little lime. Put the lime in the coconut and drink it out. I have to add my little silly stuff to it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
coconut water is high in potassium and it's really good for the body.
It
So if you
is.
like coconut water, drink coconut water, and do watermelon and seeded grapes. And, so yeah, those are
And that
natural
seeded
forms of water.
part, that is so important. I bought a watermelon the other day and it said seeded. Like you said, it's hard to find seeded fruit. So I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my goodness, a seeded watermelon. I take that joker home and cut it up, and it had the white seeds in it. I'm like, no, where are the black
No,
seeds?
we
Girl, I
want
paid
black
eight
seeds.
dollars for that watermelon. I'm like, this is not a watermelon. This ain't
I
a
know.
watermelon.
That's why
Oh, I
we're
was so
growing our
upset.
own in our backyard because I need the black seeds.
I
If you
need the
don't have
black
black seeds
seeds.
in your watermelon,
Yes.
that's a GMO watermelon, genetically modified watermelon with white seeds
Yes.
only. You need the black
Right. Black
seeds and
seeds.
white seeds in there.
Black seeds.
So
Black seeds.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, so that's very important. But yeah,
Oh,
so you know, people, please don't play with your health. Do not play with your health. And starting with your bowel movements, please, please take care of that and get that solidified. Get your body, back on track and eliminating the way it does. And then go, eat more plant-based. I can't emphasize that enough. I don't say vegan, I don't believe in vegan and all that other term, all that other hoopla. It's called Genesis 129. For I have
you
put
said
every
hoopla. You said
God,
hoopla. But
God
I
didn't
agree.
God
It's
didn't
plant
God
based.
God didn't tell us we are vegans. He just
Right.
said, I have put every seed bearing plant and tree in the garden. Remind me, seed bearing plant and tree in the garden for food for your body. So that is what keeps us having the smooth move. It's
Smooth
when we
move.
put the
Yeah.
starches on top of it, and we didn't talk about that, but the breads, and the things like that, they can compact us as well, especially, a lot of people are now gluten. I'm gluten sensitive, so I can't do gluten. It will bloat me up. My stomach will be like out here, because gluten just doesn't digest well in my body. It's a protein that just
Mm-hmm.
doesn't work. So that's why
Mm-hmm.
they're making so many foods now gluten free, because so many people
Mm-hmm.
didn't even realize you have allergy, runny eyes. It's not necessarily coming from pollen. It could be coming from the breads that you're eating, you're putting in your body, crackers that you're putting in your body that are full of gluten. There's so much stuff out there that's filled with
Processed
gluten.
foods. If it's in a
Yeah,
box,
processed foods.
processed foods.
Yeah,
Okay, that's another topic. We'll have to talk about processed foods another. Good. We could. There are so many subjects dealing with health, but thank you, Denise and Iselina, on behalf of everybody that's viewing. Thank you for sharing the valuable information. Her website is scrolling at the bottom. Naturallyorganicu.com, naturallyorganicu.com. And if you don't purchase any of her products, if you don't do anything, please get the detox tea. As she mentioned, the first thing you want to do before you try to start eating healthy is get the shit out of your body. Get all that crap out that's just been sitting there. So you got a poopy stomach, it's probably just crap that you need to pass. But
and
anyway,
if you're feeling fatigued all the time, if you're feeling no energy, you got a lot of crap in you.
that's
I,
right.
lot
being
of time.
constipated makes you tired.
Makes you tired.
You can be
Toxic.
tired and then go have a bowel movement, and all of a sudden you're feeling good. Those are those times. Girl, let's get out of here because we'll be talking again,
I
talking for
want to do
another 30
something
minutes.
special for one of your guests because she's really been interacting with the show, and I love that. Miss Taylor, thank you so much, and you're welcome. I'm just glad that LaVenda has this platform, The Other Woman magazine, and you guys buy the magazine. It's digital format because it's really great information in that magazine that comes out. I think it's quarterly, but please subscribe to that, and I thank her for putting this platform out here. She has watched all her shows on YouTube, guys. They're very, very knowledgeable and informative and great information from other people, unlike myself. So, they're like myself, but they're just great information. So watch her YouTube channel, subscribe to it, get your people involved. But Miss Taylor, I'm going to send you a free bag of the tea because you have been so interested with the show. And I love that. And I want more people to, to follow and be a part of this, of The Other Woman magazine. So please inbox me if you're on Facebook. I think you are. Inbox me, and then I will send you my number so you can text me your address and your information so I can send you out a free bag of Dr. Duke's Holistic Detox Tea. And just give us a feedback on it, an honest feedback on what you feel about it. And that's it.
Yeah. All right. With that being said, go take a crap, everybody. Go take a crap. Oh gosh, but thank you again, Denise.
And do it the right way.
Yes, do it the right way. Do it the right way. And until next time, you guys enjoy the rest of your evening and try to eat right. Bye-bye.
Love you guys. And there's nothing you
Injured in a motor vehicle accident? Call Robert C. Allen, an experienced lawyer prepared to confront insurance companies and negligent drivers. Attorney Allen brings 30-plus years of strong representation to obtain the settlement you deserve. Call Robert C. Allen at 850-438-6800 for a free consultation. That's 850-438-6800 or visit www.robertcallen.com. Watch the Ask Robert C. Allen show on WBQP-TV Pensacola Speaks on Blab TV and follow him on all social media platforms.